So I get to talk to you today about self-care, which is one of my favorite topics because I'm not so good about it. Let's just get that out of the way. Do you guys feel me on that? Yeah, okay. And it's a unique approach based on lessons from World War II airplanes. Are you guys like, what is that about?
What is that about?
What is that about? So, right? In 1943, the United States military decided to do a study based on looking at the survivability of airplanes in World War II. And so they were looking at the airplanes coming back from battle, and this is what they look like. All the red dots are the places where the airplane took on gunfire, and this is the airplanes that were coming back. I mean, imagine being that pilot, and here's where your plane's shot up and you're coming back in. And so they're like, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to reinforce these areas with armor. Makes total sense, right? Right. But then Hungarian-born Jewish mathematician Abraham Wald came in and said, no, what you need to be doing is you need to be reinforcing these areas where there are no bullet holes, because most likely this is the place where the planes took on gunfire that didn't make it back. Ooh. Yeah, it's a kind of sobering thing. It's called survivorship bias. It's a logic error where we focus on the things that survive rather than on the things that don't survive. And so here you might be wondering, well, Amy, what does that have to do with self-care? Well, I'm glad you asked, which you didn't ask, but you're kind of like, what? So here's my point. We're just going along in life, just kind of at cruising altitude, right? And living life the way we do. And then all of a sudden, a kid comes to you at 9 o'clock at night and says, oh yeah, I forgot to tell you, I need 3 dozen cupcakes by tomorrow. That's happened to me before. Or you have the boss who comes to you at 4:30 in the afternoon and says, hey, I need that report on my desk by 8 a.m. And you're nowhere near being ready. Or you realize that you don't have enough money in the bank account to cover your bills this month. There's or this, or this, or this, and this can happen for days. Do you guys understand what I'm talking about? The problem with this is when it's and this, and this, and this, and this, and it doesn't happen for days, it happens for weeks or months. Do you guys feel me on this? Right, I've had that happen before where it's like, uncle, girlfriend needs a timeout. I can't take any more. So my self-care used to be, I would work out. You guys, maybe that was you, and maybe you have other things. But I would just go and I would work out, and that was great. I could take on, some anti-aircraft gunfire for a while. But when I was coming to and this, and this, and this, my body got to the point where it was like, wow, I can't keep working out. Or my time schedule was like, I don't have enough hours in the day to keep up with your and. Or the worst thing that would happen was if I had an injury. And suddenly, I had no self-care routine. And I was having all these things hit me. And I had all this stress piling up. And no self-care to help me. So maybe you're like I am, or I was, where you have something where that's kind of helping you with some self-care, helping you manage stress. Or maybe you don't have a self-care routine. That's totally cool. I'm glad you're here because we're going to help you. Here's my point. Self-care is about resiliency, and resiliency is about dealing with stress, and not just dealing with stress, but it's about helping you bounce back even stronger. It's building that stress threshold up so that you can deal with and you're like, yeah, I'm stronger. So what I'm talking about today is resiliency is putting in the armor in the vulnerable spots on your airplane. Okay? So, what we're going to go over today is the definitions of self-care and what is resilience. We've already talked about it a little bit, but we're going to dive a little bit deeper. What are 4 things you can do right now? So I want to talk big picture self-care that you can do long term, but what are 4 things you can do right now to help build your self-care toolbox and build resiliency, and random things you can do to put armor on your airplane. Does that sound like a good plan? And we've got an hour to do it, so let's get going. First things first, what is self-care? So on your worksheet, right before it says number 1, where it says self-care, I want you to write this down. It's about deliberately taking care of your mental, emotional, and physical well-being. Deliberately taking care of your emotional, physical, and mental well-being. And underscore deliberately. Because it's all about intentionality. So it helps you become your authentic self. When I was first starting to take some self-care trainings, they talked a lot about meditation and yoga and breathing exercises. And I'm not sure if you've picked up on this yet, but I'm a little type A. And meditation wasn't my gig. I didn't have much success at it, so I was like, no on the meditation. It wasn't for me. So I really didn't resonate with self-care at all. It wasn't something that I really liked. Or the other side of the spectrum was they're like, just go out with your girlfriends and have a mani-pedi. Okay. It doesn't work. And not only that, but it wasn't something that I really wanted to spend money on. So it was one of those things where I was just kind of like, wow, none of this self-care stuff is really talking to me. Self-care is all about what works for you, and it's about your authentic self. So I want you to write down a few of your core values, and here's some examples. Like for instance, I'm all about nature, and this is one of the things that Rebecca and I can really connect on. I hope you don't mind that I'm like all of a sudden dragging you in. It's all about nature for me. I like being in nature, and obviously I've already kind of talked about exercise. I like exercise. So I love to go for hikes. I really love hiking. One of the things that I also put on my self-care thing was I go camping. And so I'll go park it, not my camper, but I'll go park my little tuchus in a lawn chair by a stream, and I'll spend some time reading or journaling by a stream. Awesome self-care for me. Like, oh, it's amazing. So I want you to take some time, and I know that on the worksheet, it only has 3 things right here, but there's plenty of room to write down, what are your core values? What are things that bring you joy? Do you like alone time? Do you like spending time with friends? Maybe it's a combination of both. Do you like to read? Do you like to write? I had a woman recently who's like, I love to write poetry. And I'm like, oh my God, that's awesome. I love to listen. Let's get together. What are things that you like? When you take this back to your desk, or hopefully you take them home, my intention is for you to pick these up at another day, hopefully soon, and take a little bit of time and go back and relook at these. Because it's hard to take enough time in a 1-hour workshop to really go through what are my values. So take enough time to go back and really think about what your values are, because as you're thinking about self-care, what's important to you. The next one, number 2, it's taking the time to do things that make you happy, manage stress, and allows you to have a positive flow. So what are you doing currently to help you manage stress? What's working for you? These are the things that help you get through your day when you're having a really stressful day. What are the things that help you maintain the flow in life? When things are kind of coming at you one after another, it's that and. Write down the things that are working for you currently? So I'm going to share one of the things that I do. I love this diagram. It's called the path to action, and it's actually out of the book Crucial Conversations, but it's kind of the basis of cognitive behavioral therapy. It's about controlling your emotions, and our emotions are a choice, right? Nobody makes us have an emotion. Our reaction to things are a choice. So something happens, we see or hear something that happens to us, and we tell ourselves a story, and this happens quick. So as things come at you, start paying attention to the story that you're telling yourself. And I'll give you an example here in a second. And based on the story that we tell ourselves, we have an emotion, we have a feeling. And then based on that emotion, we act. So here's a story that I'm going to tell you. I think it was 2 days ago. I went to Sprouts. I had a little bit of time. I'd forgotten to eat lunch, and so I was just going to grab something really quick. And so here I am in my boss's truck, because I came in on the train, and I'm like, okay, there's a parking space. Well, I noticed there's a woman coming from the other direction, and she had her eyes on that spot. She was there before me, but she failed to use her turn signal, which is a pet peeve of mine, but that's an aside. So I'm like, okay, fine, you were here first, I'll let you go. Grumbled a little bit. So I go around to the other side. There's a spot, and I go to park in that spot. She pulls through.
No, she didn't.
Yes, she did. I go and I find another spot. Okay, here's the deal. Of course she pulled through, because that's what we do as Americans, we pull through. Anybody in this room is going to pull through that spot because it's annoying when we have to back out. Yes, you're gonna pull through. You're gonna pull through. You're gonna pull through. Everyone in this room is gonna pull through. It's what we do. But I'm annoyed with that. I'm hungry. I forgot to eat lunch. I have somewhere to be, and she pulled through. She didn't take one, but she took 2 of my parking spots. Technically. I had to go find another parking spot. I go marching into Sprouts. I told myself a story. That jerk took 2 of my parking spots. Grumbling. I'm annoyed. Who chose the bad mood? I did. As I'm walking into Sprouts, this man walks in, or is walking out, and we make eye contact, and he smiles at me. And I'm like, aw. I smile back. I continue to walk in, and another person walks out, this woman, and we make eye contact, and she smiles at me. And I'm like, aw. I smile back. I'm like, all right, Weitzel. Do you ever talk to yourself like that? Just me? Do you use your first name? I use my last name. Okay. It's such a cool last name. So I decide to change. Notice, I choose to change my emotion. I'm going to be joyful from now on. And I decided from then on, everybody that I made eye contact with in that store was going to get a smile. Even the woman who, as I'm standing in line, and they open up a line, I can help whoever's next. Well, I'm the whoever's next. Pick up my stuff. The woman behind me goes and gets in line. I'm like, all right, then you go. I put my stuff back down. And I was not going to be annoyed. Because I chose joy. We get to choose our emotions, right? Yes. Okay. It's all about perception.
Hey, kid. You got to go down. Come on.
So be careful what the story is that you're telling yourself, because that dictates your mood. All right? Okay. Okay. Number 3, it's creating harmony in your life. Number 3 is creating harmony in your life. Self-care is about creating harmony in your life. So here we have the Wheel of Life, and you've got this in your worksheet, so you might want to turn to that page. And you can find this if you want to print one out, another one, and I would recommend doing this a couple of times over the course of a year at coactivecoaching.com. It's free, coactivecoaching.com. And it just gives you a snapshot of where you're at in life in several different areas. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to read you a little blurb based on each one of these little slices of the pie that represent your life. Okay? And on this scale of 0 to 10, it's your satisfaction of where you are. 0 being not so satisfied, 10 being I am completely filled up in that area. Okay? So let's start with fun and recreation. I'm going to read the blurb, listen to the blurb, and then rate yourself scale of 0 to 10. And this is completely personal. There's no right or wrong. Okay. Fun and recreation. I regularly take the time I need to experience play, adventure, and leisure. I know what activities renew me and bring me alive, and I participate in them regularly. I create plenty of space in my life to relax and enjoy myself and others. I create fun for myself and others. Where do you land? Career. I feel my career reflects my core values. I feel my talents and skills are well used in my work. I enjoy my work environment and the people with whom I work. I see opportunity for growth and development in my position. Money and finances. I have enough money to do the things I want to do and to accomplish the things that are important to me. I manage my money and financial affairs and records well. I am free from worry and anxiety about money. My financial future feels robust and sustainable. So down here it says personal development and education. I'm actually going to call that personal and professional growth. I have a belief system that sustains me no matter what circumstances life throws at me. I regularly experience living a life that I love and loving who I am becoming. I regularly engage in activities and learning that grow and expand me. So I'm combining the next two, significant other and romance and friends and family. So when I talk about relationship, it talks about the two of them, but when you rate them, rate this one alone and then this one alone. I have a sufficient number of great friends. My relationships nourish and sustain me. I am a good friend and I make myself available in all my relationships. I trust the relationships I have with my friends and significant other. I am satisfied with the level of contact I have with my friends. Nothing feels hidden or withheld in my relationships. I am satisfied with the role I play and the level of contribution I have in all of my relationships. I am open to creating an intimate, loving relationship. I am free from past resentments or blame in the area of intimate relationships. I am willing to risk myself for the sake of intimacy. Health and well-being. I approach my health in a proactive and generative way rather than crisis management mode. I am satisfied with my level of vitality and well-being. I have support systems and structures in place that allow me to easily maintain my health and well-being. I am conscious of my body and fitness level and take responsibility for my physical well-being. I know what works for me to maintain my health and I consistently do it. Physical environment. I feel nourished and supported by my home. I am surrounded by things that I love and have meaning to me. The level of order in my surroundings is appropriate to my needs. It serves me. My wardrobe is a clear expression of who I am, and I love being in the clothes I wear. Okay, so where do you stand in each area? And take a moment to reflect on that. No need to make any decisions on it right now. Just take a moment to reflect. Are you kind of disappointed on where you're at? Were you surprised by anything? Was there an area that you're like, yeah, I'm kind of kicking some butt in that area? So being teacher in the moment is just an expression that we're going to focus on something. So you had said that in this moment of life, there has to be a trade-off, which is absolutely true. When we are doing certain things, it's a time pie, right? Because time is limited, it's a limited commodity. But I'm going to challenge your language for a second.
Sure.
Is it a have to or is it a get to?
The have to choose?
Are you having to choose or do you get to choose? Because you are choosing education, which, are you guys aware of the fact that she's getting her master's degree? Which is a level of badassery that I'm just like, it is. It is. Take that compliment. Yes, that is a level of badassery. So you're getting to choose at this point to say, okay, I'm choosing this and I'm getting to choose this because we know that it's short term. That probably doesn't feel like that right now. But you get to choose this. And then when you're done with this, we can say, all right. And we can come back to here. So you get to choose it right now. When you use the verbiage have to choose, it's kind of like you're falling victim to your own choice. I'm just going to throw that out there for a second. Okay. Anybody else? Any aha moments?
I'm still recovering from graduate school, so I just finished in June. So
Yay!
I'm like, how can we organize things back? Because you do have to be, I think, so focused on.
You're probably still in PTSD mode. Yeah. So, yeah, I'll tell you. Congrats. So I graduated in 2017, but then I decided to teach at CMU. So it was like I traded school for school. So this is what I chose to do right after I graduated. And when I saw this, I literally cried. I was like, look what I chose to do. And then this, I was spending, and I felt the loneliness of this, to be quite frank with you. And this as well. And the ironic thing is I also teach a personal finance course. And here was this. So I'm like, all right, Weitzel, here we go again. I got back on track with this and got back in my budget weekly, which is what I teach people to do. So I started walking the talk. And then when I got done with my class at school, I started beefing this back up, which I'm sure, when you get out of class, you're like, all right, I got a couple of weeks. What do you want to go do? And then I started working on these two areas. And you're right. At any given time, there's a trade-off. It's a time pie. I want to give a little point to this. When we have a budget, it's not about denying yourself things. Budgets are not about denying yourself. It's about prioritizing what's important in your life and putting your money to those things. Time is the same thing. What's important in your life and putting your time to those things. So I'm going to say that to you, and you might be like, I don't see how I can make that happen. But it's sort of like social media. Social media is such a time suck. So one of the things that I recently did is I went from 1,300 friends on my Facebook page down to 645. And it's still too many. I think I'm going to just cancel my account altogether because it's such a time suck.
Just take it off your phone. That did wonders for me.
Oh, we're
We're
so going to go there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so this is what I ended up doing. Here's what I ended up doing. I wanted to do something that was so radical. Remember, I don't do these. And that's okay. If you do, cool. If that's really what you want to do, that's awesome. I mean, I did go with my friend Bree like 7 months ago and get a pedicure, and it was fun to hang out with her and to have somebody rub my feet. Other than that, I don't do it. But I wanted to do something that was entirely just for myself, just entirely for myself. So I fulfilled a childhood dream by taking horseback riding lessons. And there I am with my blue-eyed boy, Chief. And so I went up to Loma and I took dressage lessons, and nothing filled me up more than that. And sometimes it wasn't even the ride itself. It was brushing him down, it was picking his hooves, it was, taking an apple and feeding and sharing the apple. He got most of the apple because he's a pig like that. But nothing filled me up like spending time with that horse. I can tell how many times we had meetings and I smelled like a horse because I came right from the farm. Sorry, not sorry, but I loved it. I loved it. So let's take a look at your wheel. Where are you willing to make a change? Pick one or two areas. Where would it serve you to make a change and fill you up? When you take this back and you look at this worksheet again, which again I hope you do, because it really takes a lot more thought than what 1 hour and one workshop can do. Think about, how do my self-care practices fit in the larger picture of my overall health? Remember, mental, emotional, physical. How are they aligned with my values? Go back to your core values. Make sure they're authentic to you. What brings me joy in life? What brings me joy in life? And what support and accountability systems do I need to have in place to help me adhere to my goals? So this wheel might be just enough to kind of, okay, I need help in these areas. I'm going to start focusing and putting my focus on these areas. Cool on ya. Because, when we're back, it would be kind of hard to drive on this wheel, right? And we're never going to be fully balanced. That's okay. I kind of hate the term work-life balance. It makes me nervous as a type A. I like work-life integration. That's healthier. I think that's a healthier visual. But where do you need to put some focus? But if you're really interested in making full-on changes on what you would like to create in life and thinking about dreaming big, because that's the best view in the whole wide world, then maybe we need to set some SMART goals around if you're wanting to make some big changes. So I'm sure you've heard of SMART goals. Not many people have not heard of SMART goals, but I want to go over them really quickly because a real SMART goal is really going to hold you accountable. SMART goals are specific. You can say, I'm going to work out 3 times a week, but what does working out look like? You need to be real specific on what working out looks like. Is it 5 minutes or is it an hour? I'm going to work out for an hour or more. Measurable. Make sure that your goals are measurable, because if they're not measurable, then why even have a goal? Then you need to hold yourself accountable. Make sure that they're attainable. Like for instance, I'm a single girl, and let's say that I want to get back out in the dating world and I'm going to set a SMART goal around it. I'm not going to say I'm going to have 3 or more dates in the next month with Jason Momoa. I could say that, but there's a couple problems with that. 1, he's married. That's no bueno. 2, it's Jason Momoa. You can't involve a goal with another person, let alone Jason Momoa. Okay, realistic. And right below realistic, I want you to write in big, bold word, risky. Because this is where I think sometimes we don't really get it. We're like, oh, it's going to be realistic. If you have an 8-week goal period, which I don't like 12-week goal periods, I like 8 weeks because it's like, all right, I can get something done in 8 weeks and I'm going to stay motivated. But risky, it's like, I'm going to do 8 or more hours of yoga in 8 weeks. Well, yeah, it's realistic and it's attainable, but it's not really risky, is it? Unless you're going to do 8 or more hours of yoga in California, and then you have to travel, and it might be a little bit harder. You want it to be risky. Like make it something that you have to work for. And then timely. Set a timeline on it. It has to have a timeline. So let me show you some goal language. On or before September 4th, 2019, I will drink 64 ounces or more of water per day 48 or more times. Now you might be like, what? It's a water drinking goal? Listen, I've been nursing this sucker all day long. It is hard for me to drink water. I talk a lot and I don't like to drink water. I'll have 2 pots of coffee before noon. I'll forget to eat breakfast. I'll forget to eat lunch. And then by dinner, I'm like, oh, I haven't eaten all day, nor have I drank any water. So I set a water drinking goal for myself, and it was hard. Don't judge me. And then after 5 o'clock, I'll be having wine. Okay, on or before September 4th, 2019, I will ride horses for 1 or more hours per day, 2 or more times per week. I set a horse riding goal because that was amazing. If you haven't figured it out, these are my goals. All right, on or before December 31st, 2019, I will have contributed $8,000 or more to my IRA. Yes, I did achieve that. It is already in the books. On or before October 31st, 2019, I will complete 1 or more hours of time to read and or journal by myself 36 or more times. That was a friend of mine's goal. Write one of these down so you know what goal language sounds like. So notice that it's specific, it's measurable, it's attainable, realistic and risky, and it's timely. I have set sales goals this way. I have set fun goals this way. A friend of mine set a goal to declutter her house this way. She decluttered her house. We held her accountable. She was showing us on video. She needed it. All right. Resiliency. Resiliency is when you're faced with challenges and you adapt to that event or challenge and you come back even stronger. You're raising your stress threshold. So it's health challenges, it's work challenges. It's being able to face those challenges. And when you have a comprehensive self-care program, you can face these challenges and bounce back even stronger. All right, so let's talk for a second about the importance of finding balance, because we are faced with challenges and we are faced with stress. According to the American Psychological Association, 79% of all Americans are faced with stress daily. Daily. It's a lot. And so after a while, it becomes chronic. So the sympathetic versus the parasympathetic nervous system. The parasympathetic nervous system is the fight or flight system, and it doesn't know the difference between going down a roller coaster or going down a fast ski hill versus being chased by a pack of dogs when you're out hiking the Dominguez Canyon over the summer. Yes, that did happen to me. So it is stress. That is stress. Now, the sympathetic nervous system is the nervous system that lowers your heart rate. This is triggered by self-care. You need to have a balance. So that's why we're talking about self-care today. Ask yourself, do you live in alignment with your core values? Do you have stress coping skills? And do you have a balanced wheel? So this is your long-term plan to help kick in your sympathetic nervous system. This is your long-term plan. In the meantime, here are 4 things you can do now, like right now, to help combat stress. First thing, show up for life. Train yourself to be present. Worrying about the past is depression. Worrying about the future is anxiety. But your path to peace is living in the present. And I don't want to diminish depression or anxiety. I have struggled with those in the past. And so I don't want to diminish the fact when people have really struggled with those that, oh, it's just, willpower, you'll be able to get over it. But it can help. So having a present mindfulness practice can help find peace, especially when you are worrying and you're facing stress. So when I told you about how I was really super struggling with meditation and I was pretty resistant to it, I've since come around from that, and I've incorporated a present mindfulness practice, not necessarily daily, but often into my routine. So I'll go out into nature, I'll sit under a tree, I'll look up the leaves, I'll feel the coolness under the ground, I'll connect with a dog barking and, outside, away from me. Just paying attention to what's around you. You can do that in the office. Just take a step back from your desk. Listen to the noises that are around you. Notice how your body feels. Take even just a few moments just to kind of ground and center. One of the things that I've learned to use is the mindfulness timer. It's called Insight. It's an Insight mindfulness app. You can write that down. It's free. I'm all about free. Insight mindfulness app. And I've actually found success with this because you can find guided meditation practices for 5 minutes. Sometimes I'm like, okay, today I can manage 18 and I'll pull off 18. It's all about finding success, right? Doing what's authentic to you. An attitude of gratitude. Happiness goes up 25% when you find things to be grateful for. So when you practice being grateful and you bring that into your life, that actually can increase your happiness by 25%. Studies have been done. So one of the things that I sometimes do, especially when I have that monkey mind at night, is I'll focus on 5 things that I'm grateful for that day. And I don't just like rattle them off. Amy said I have to do this. Just sit there and think, oh, today I'm grateful for the 2 people who were walking out of Sprouts who smiled at me and reminded me not to be such a jerk about parking places. I'm really happy about that. Thank you. I'm grateful, even if it's small things. Because let's face it, sometimes in life, it's the small things that matter, right? So practicing gratitude. Having a habit of happiness. And happiness is a choice. Remember when we talked about the path to action? That emotions are a choice. And I thought that this was super interesting. There was research that was done that there are 3 contributors to happiness. The biggest contributor to happiness is our genetic makeup. It's 50%. It determines our happiness. I was shocked by that. Life situation, 10%. But here's the cool thing. 40% is choice. So if you choose into joy, or if you choose into happiness, or you choose into contentment, that's a choice. Just like when I saw the 2 people walking out of Sprouts and I'm like, all right, Weitzel, get it together. Totally a choice. I just recommend you use your own name. All right. Be true to you. Nurture your resiliency to align with your core values. So maybe this picture is all about you. And jumping out of an airplane is going to be what brings you joy. Yeah? Come on. Come on. No? Kenra, is this you? Okay. Or maybe self-care is sitting down and managing your budget, and you're like, yes, we've got enough money that we can go on vacation. That's more my style. Whatever it is, be true to you and nurture your own authenticity. All right, random things you can do to bust stress. Change your mindset about self-care.
I just want to rebrand it. I don't know why the term
Something else.
Sounds so squishy to me.
Right.
Is anybody else on that? This is just me.
No, I'm kind of with you. Let's come up with that tonight.
Okay.
All right, it's not selfish. You need to fill up your own cup before you can pour into others. Let's go along with the airplane analogy. You got to put on your own oxygen mask before you put on other people's oxygen mask. Right? Same thing. All right. It doesn't have to break the bank. Oh my gosh, mani-pedis are expensive. So create a list of inexpensive things that you can do to fill yourself up. I mean, if you want to go out for a mani-pedi, awesome. Because honestly, sometimes I like it when people rub my feet. So I do walk the talk, and a little over a year ago, my counselor, my EAP counselor was like, all right, Amy, I want you to write a list of things that you can do for self-care. And I'm like, I don't even know where to begin. Let's be honest. And so she's like, figure it out. Like she was going to take my bull. So I'm like, all right. And I did put in here, get a pedicure, get a manicure. But I put in here, lay in the sun, gratitude list, buy a treat. And by buy a treat, I meant like something ice cream and chocolatey. Go to bed early. I think I even hear, have a glass of wine. I think I put that on here. Is there? Okay, go for a hike, listen to music, call a friend, watch a movie, get a massage. I don't know why that's not at the top. Read, take a nap. So, yes. And so why is it important to have ideas for self-care?
It's hard to think of when you're really stressed out, so it's good to have a plan so that you can just draw from it.
Yes. When we're in the weeds, it's like, oh, life is so hard right now. I'm just really struggling, and you're just kind of like laying around and you're on the couch. Okay, maybe this is just me, but it's hard to think of things. Bam, you already know. You've already made the list. The hard part is done. Now just choose. Choose something. Exactly. A+. If I had a scratch and sniff sticker right now, I'd give you the root beer one.
I really like tail. I can use it for self-care. I guess they're great.
Right? All right. It's not a one size fits all. It doesn't have to look the same. If you want to do breathing and meditation, that's awesome. And if you don't, that's awesome too. But here's why I'm going to highly recommend breathing and meditation practices. Because remember when we talked about the sympathetic nervous system? That's going to help. There is a reason they do talk about it. It just took me a while to say, don't tell me what to do. All right. Learn to say no. Oh, this was revolutionary for me. Learn to say no. First of all, figure out why you say yes. That's an important one. There's a reason why you say yes. Figure that out.
I had somebody say once, a good mental exercise on that is that if you had to do it tomorrow or like in an hour, would you be excited about it? Would you want to do it?
Oh.
And if the answer is no, you're not going to want to do it 2 weeks from now either. So
That's awesome.
yeah, and it's helped me get out, like not say yes to things.
That's awesome.
Because you say it because
It's in future, so you're like, oh, future me's gonna be cool with it. But future's you not cool with it either.
And how many times, have you been like, oh yeah, I'll do that, and then it's time, and you're like, oh, I have to go do that.
Or you have to make up this outlandish reason why you don't want to be there.
And then you become the person who's says yes to things and then
Yeah.
has a reason just before it.
Right. Digital detox. So what Rebecca was saying earlier, spot on about removing Facebook off your phone. And I think that digital devices just make it really easy to be able to pull. This is me pulling my phone out. You're like, what is she doing? This is me pulling my phone out and getting on Facebook. It is so easy, and Rebecca, I'm going to have you take one and pass one down. This is an article about digital toxicity, and on the back, if you have an iPhone, you can get screen time and activate screen time, and it shows you how long you spend on your social media devices. On the back, though, are also other apps that will lock down your phone. You can set timers on them, and it'll lock down your phone on certain apps, so it kind of is like your hard stop, which is awesome. I think it's ironic, though, that there's all these apps out there that help you stop using certain apps. The irony is not lost on me. But a digital detox is important. Prioritize your time, and we've already talked about this. Spend your time like you spend your money, and hopefully you spend your money wise. Treat yourself better. Better self-talk. Start paying attention to how you talk to yourself, because you spend more time with yourself than you spend time with anybody else. And when I started paying attention to what I was saying to myself, would call myself dum-dum. Oh, way to go, dum-dum. I would never be like, hey, dum-dum. Hey, dum-dum, you want to go have a glass of wine tonight? I would never say that to anybody. Why would I ever say that to myself? So better self-talk. Better self-talk. Ask for help. And this is one of my favorites because I super struggled with asking for help. So if you need help, ask for help. And then better yet, if somebody offers help, accept it. Because here's the deal. Studies have been done that volunteering really helps people, right? You've probably seen these all the time. And people will ask all the time, hey, can I help you carry that? And we're always like, no. The default answer is always, no, no thanks. And why? Because we like to help one another, don't we? Hey, can I help you carry that? No. And so I decided that I was going to say whenever anybody ever asked, hey, can I help? The answer was going to be yes. But it ended up looking like this. I'm walking along, got my hands full. I mean, unless, now I live in Denver, and now if random people ask me, it's no. But otherwise, I'm, right, well, because a lot of times I'm downtown, it's no. Walking along, can I help? No. Yes, I would love your help. So they're kind of like, wow. And then I would go, I'm trying to get much better at accepting help. I would love your help, thank you so much. And you could see the recognition on their face like, oh, that's a beautiful idea. So it ended up being a teaching moment for both of us. But at first, it kind of looked like I was a little bipolar. So
You fit right in.
no, but this person right here might want it. Yes, I would love your help. Okay, right. You should be at the train station. All right. It's never a training about me until you get to see one of my kids. So we're wrapping up. This is my son Donovan, who is in the Marine Corps. And this is the day he graduated from boot camp. And he's sitting in the captainship on the Midway, which was commissioned right at the end of World War II. This is when it was still active. It's now decommissioned, and we got to tour it. It was so cool. If you ever go to San Diego, it's a really cool tour. So it's an aircraft carrier, if you can't tell. And aircraft carriers have about 500 feet of runway, and planes are coming and they're landing on it. Thank you, Captain Obvious. And so here's how planes come in and they land. They liken it, here's the analogy, it's like crash landing on a postage stamp in the middle of the ocean. Just a smidge stressful. So the ship is coming toward you, and remember it's up and down on waves. The plane is coming toward it, and it's coming in, it's got a tail hook on the plane. There are 4 arresting wires across the deck, and it's aiming for the 3rd arresting wire. The arresting wires are attached to hydraulics that are below deck, and the arresting wires, the tail hook catches the arresting wire, and they're strong enough that it can stop a 54,000-pound aircraft that's traveling at 150 miles per hour in 2 seconds. So it's like, bam! But here's the deal. As the plane comes in, it's aiming for the 3rd one. You think it's going to hit the brakes. The brakes aren't down there. I don't even know what I'm talking about. You think it's going to hit the brakes, but instead, counterintuitively, it actually picks up speed. Because if the tail hook doesn't catch one of the arresting wires, it has to have enough speed that it can take off again. Stressful? Yeah? Just a little. So here it comes in, the ship is up and down, coming toward it. Here comes the plane. It is pretty amazing. They have to practice this over and over and over for precision. There are people on the deck who are just ready for anything to happen. The plane to catch fire, the plane to have all sorts of problems, the plane to do anything. See these little things off to the side? These are bailout areas for people to fly off into or to be pushed off into so they don't fall down into the ocean. It's a stressful thing to have happen, but they practice over and over. It's much like self-care and resiliency. You practice, and practice to build up your resiliency. So keep working on your self-care. Any questions?